Welcome to another video by LDS Nerds, the Obscure Gospel History series. In this video, we explore the history of the Deseret Telegraph Company and church involvement in telegraphy. In 1832, Samuel Morse met scientist Charles Thomas Jackson and witnessed his experiments with an electromagnet. Morse soon developed the concept of a single-wire telegraph, based on his understanding, with simpler and more cost-effective means than similar telegraphs at the time. Morse was able to obtain funding from the federal government only a few years later. On May 24, 1844, a message was sent using his telegraph from Baltimore, Maryland to Washington, D.C., which started a whole new method of communicating long distance in the United States. Mainly regional companies were formed to string the wire and build the infrastructure necessary to facilitate this new technology. In 1861, the Pacific Telegraph Company, with help from the Overland Telegraph Company, built a line from Nebraska to California, running through Utah. President Abraham Lincoln, Brigham Young, and other officials sent the first messages over this new transcontinental line. The first church telegraph office, called the Deseret Telegraph Building, was built in Salt Lake City that year as well. Single-wire telegraphy proved to be so fast and cost-efficient that it brought about the end of the Pony Express mail service established only 18 months before. The new telegraph line ran generally east to west across Utah, but most of Utah's early settlements lay north or south of Salt Lake City, which left them out of the network. Brigham Young started to plan a new church-owned communication network to better provide communications across the state. After 1864, prices of Civil War surplus telegraph materials dropped enough to make this project more affordable. Construction of the new line started in the winter of 1865 through 1866. A school for telegraphers was opened in Salt Lake City to train operators during this time as well. By the 1st of December, 1866, the line from Salt Lake to Ogden was completed and immediately dedicated via special telegraph by Brigham Young himself. The Deseret Telegraph Company was incorporated January 18, 1867, to oversee operations of the lines. The company's cooperative ownership structure meant that rates for telegraphs were set differently than other telegraph companies. Most telegraphs for territories in the church itself were sent free of charge, as was local personal and community communication. Many communities paid a monthly sum and could receive a set number of words per month for a set cost. The normal charges of per word, per mile were only charged for messages between Ogden and Salt Lake City. With this unique structure and the goal of connecting members more than in making a profit, the company regularly ran in the red. Getting timely news and transmitting messages was crucial to the church during a time when both transportation and communication speeds were increasing. One telegraphy operator by the name of William Bryan became the private operator for Brigham Young, accompanying the prophet during his tours of the various settlements across Utah. William later related his memories from these trips. The president always wanted the news of the day, every day, and while on the road from place to place, his secretary in Salt Lake City would read and compile the news from the papers, and such local news as might be desirable for the president. And when I would cut in with my telegraph apparatus and give my signal to the Salt Lake office, my pen would begin sweeping over the paper like magic, copying the news. Often the president stopped at places where there was no telegraph office. At such places I would cut the wires and establish my office, anywhere. Anywhere was once on top of a wood pile at Scipio in a snowstorm. Brigham Young was able to direct the affairs of the church regularly from his home in St. George because of this technology, and it was responsible for saving many lives during the Black Hawk Indian War in the late 1860s. After operating under church control for 18 years, the company was part of other church assets confiscated by the U.S. government as part of the Edmunds-Tucker Act, and it was under federal control from 1888 to 1894. During the late 1800s, the telephone was gaining a foothold as the primary means of wired communication, while wireless forms like radio and even wireless telegraphy were being developed as well. On February 20th, 1900, the Western Union Telegraph Company, the same company who had built the first transcontinental telegraph line, purchased the assets of the Deseret Telegraph Company from the church. At its height, the Deseret Telegraph Company served all of Utah and connected with settlements in Arizona, Nevada, and Idaho, encompassing more than 1,000 miles of lines. A replica based on the original 1861 Deseret Telegraph office was added to This Is the Place Heritage Park in 2001. That's all for this video. Be sure to tell us in the comments any topics you would like to see covered under the Obscure Gospel History series. Thanks for watching another LDS Nerds creation. Visit our store for geeky gospel-themed merchandise.